Welcome to a brand new episode, Master AI and Evolve Your Career. Welcome to
Picture this. It is Monday morning, 8:43 a.m.
Okay.
32 people walk onto the exact same office floor. And, if you look around, they have the same laptops, the same job titles, the same ambition,
Right.
and the exact same goals for the week.
Right. They're basically identical on paper.
Exactly. But by Friday at 5 p.m., one of those people has accomplished like 3 times more meaningful work than the other 31.
Wow. 3 times.
3 times. And she didn't do it by skipping lunch or, grinding until midnight and burning herself out.
Yeah, that's the usual assumption, right? That she just worked harder.
Right. But today, we're breaking down the actual blueprint of exactly how she did it. Welcome to our deep dive into this highly anticipated draft manuscript called The Infinite Career, Master AI, Build Rare Skills, Stay Indispensable by Apayan Chakraborty.
It's a fantastic text.
It really is. And our mission for you today is to, well, cut straight through the panic you're probably feeling right now about algorithms taking over and instead give you the exact framework to future-proof your livelihood.
Yeah, because that panic is everywhere right now.
Totally is. So, okay, let's unpack this because the core premise of this text completely flips the script on how we view the future. Work isn't being replaced, it is being completely redefined.
It really is. I mean, the narrative we are constantly being fed is this, like, epic science fiction showdown, right? You versus AI.
Right.
But the manuscript makes it super clear that this is entirely the wrong framework. It's a distraction.
A massive distraction.
Exactly. The real competition today, the one that actually dictates the trajectory of your career, is you versus someone exactly like you who knows how to use AI better.
Oof. Yeah.
It's a really subtle shift in perspective, but it changes absolutely everything about how you should be spending your professional time right now.
And to understand how to actually win that specific competition, we really have to recognize that the playing field itself it's transformed.
Right.
The author calls this the Great Career Reset. And honestly, reading this part, I was thinking about how the old career path was basically like riding a slow-moving escalator.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Right. Like, you got on at the bottom, you did your job, you stood still, and the machine eventually just carried you up. Study, get a degree, land a job, wait for the promotion, retire.
You just wait your turn.
Yeah, but that escalator is completely broken now. You essentially have to build your own stairs because of what the text calls the half-life of skills.
That concept is so crucial. Because, in previous generations, the map was linear since industries changed at this, glacial pace.
Mm-hmm.
A degree carried you for decades. But today, the half-life of technical skills is just plummeting.
Mm-hmm.
What you learned 3 years ago, or honestly, maybe even 3 months ago in some fields,
Could already be totally obsolete.
Exactly. The text illustrates this with a really fantastic story about a printer technician.
Oh, I loved this part.
Yeah, so his entire livelihood was tied to physically repairing office machines. And when everything digitized and moved to the cloud, the demand for his specific physical skills just fell off a cliff.
But the thing is, he didn't just ride the broken escalator down to the bottom.
No, he didn't.
Ah.
He saw the shift and he adapted. He realized his underlying skill wasn't fixing gears, right? It was keeping an office running.
Yeah.
So he learned networking, he learned cloud systems, cybersecurity. He didn't just find a new job. He transformed his entire identity into a digital workplace consultant.
Which is brilliant.
Right. He survived the reset because he intuitively understood the new career equation.
Well, let's dig into that equation because this is where the mechanics of this book really start to shine for me. It's no longer just about what you know.
Right.
The equation the author lays out is knowledge multiplied by judgment, multiplied by communication, multiplied by leverage. And that equals your impact.
And notice the math there.
Yeah, I love that these are multipliers, not just additions.
Exactly. The math is unforgiving. If your leverage is a 0, your overall impact is going to be incredibly limited, no matter how vast your technical knowledge is.
Because anything times 0 is 0.
Right. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you are doing everything manually while your peer is using technology to multiply their output by a factor of 10,
You just can't keep up.
your knowledge cannot bridge that gap alone.
Which brings up a really crucial point for you, the listener, trying to navigate this. If technical knowledge expires so fast now, and if, AI is democratizing that knowledge so literally anyone can access it, what actually gets you hired versus what earns you trust in the long run?
Well, what's fascinating here is how the text answers that with the concept of the leverage pyramid.
Right, the
It
pyramid.
breaks down how value is actually distributed now. So at the base of the pyramid, you have knowledge.
Yeah.
And, knowledge is still foundational, obviously. It is what gets you in the door. It gets
Yeah.
you hired. But AI and automation are rapidly pushing the baseline of that pyramid upward. Lower tier technical execution is just easily handled by technology now.
So the foundation is like super crowded and highly automated.
Exactly. So to actually earn trust, you have to move up the pyramid, through automation, through communication and creative problem solving until you reach judgment.
Judgment, right.
Judgment isn't just knowing the facts, it's knowing what to do with the facts in a complex, totally unpredictable human world.
Yeah, AI doesn't live in the human world.
Right. So judgment earns trust. And then at the very top of the pyramid is vision, which is the ability to see around corners. Vision creates leaders. So the human advantage is really heavily concentrated at the very top of this pyramid.
Okay, so if leverage is the absolute key to pushing ourselves up to that judgment tier, we definitely have to talk about the tool providing all this leverage right now, which is AI.
Yes.
But the manuscript points out a massive pitfall in how most of us are using it on a daily basis. The author calls it the thinking trap.
Oh, it's a dangerous trap. And to really understand it, we have to look at the 4 modes of AI use that the text outlines.
Okay.
So first is replacement, which is simply saying, do this for me.
Right.
Second is assistance, which is help me do this. Third is collaboration. Let's think together. And the fourth is amplification. Challenge my assumptions and improve my thinking.
And the trap is what exactly?
The trap is that the vast majority of people stop entirely at mode 1, replacement.
It's
With
like
it-
having a GPS in your car, right?
Ah,
Like if you never actually look at the street signs and you just blindly follow the voice telling you to turn left or right,
yeah.
you completely lose your own internal sense of direction,
That's a perfect analogy. I mean, you save time, sure, but your own reasoning skills actually begin to atrophy.
which is scary.
It is. The book highlights this brilliant case study of 2 analytics students to prove this point.
Oh yeah, the students.
All right, so the first student uses AI to solve every single exercise from start to finish. But the second student approaches it differently. They try to solve the problem first, they wrestle with it, they get stuck, and only then do they bring in AI to, compare approaches or find the missing link.
And the result isn't really surprising, but it is super profound.
Yeah.
Like months later, the second student has a dramatically deeper understanding. They actually retained the knowledge because they didn't outsource the struggle.
Yeah.
They used the AI as a spotter in the gym, not as like someone to just lift the weights for them while they sit on the bench.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
And to operationalize that, the author gives us the 30-30-30 rule.
Right, the 30-30-30 rule.
Yeah, because you want leverage, right. But you don't want to lose your edge. So you spend the first 30% of your effort thinking independently. Stare at the blank page, form a hypothesis, outline the structure
What
yourself.
do in your brain.
Right. Then you spend the next 30% collaborating with AI to expand those ideas, find your blind spots, maybe generate some raw material.
Okay.
And the final 30% is you, again, refining the output, injecting your specific voice, and applying that human judgment we talked about.
It perfectly preserves your independent thought while still giving you that massive leverage of the technology.
Exactly.
Which actually ties directly into my absolute favorite concept in the entire manuscript, which is building your AI board of directors.
Oh, this part is so good.
It's amazing. The author points out that most of us just, open a single blank chat window and ask it to do everything from writing emails to analyzing complex financial data.
Which is a mistake.
Right. The book says we need to stop doing that immediately. Instead, we should be building specialized, persistent roles.
Yes.
You create a research director persona. You build a strategy director, a career coach.
I think the book even talks about building a devil's advocate, right?
Yeah. Yes. A devil's advocate whose entire job is to aggressively expose the risks and flaws in your ideas before you pitch them to your boss.
It's so smart because
Yeah.
it changes the dynamic from just like a search engine query to a continuous working relationship.
Totally.
There is that story in the text of the startup founder who improved the consistency of her strategic planning exponentially by doing exactly this.
What does she do?
Well, she basically created separate, heavily customized workspaces for her marketing, her pricing, and her product strategy.
Yeah.
So each AI had deep, specific context.
See, I read that and I totally get the appeal, but I'm looking at this board of directors idea and I have to ask. So, what does this all mean for my actual daily schedule?
That's the big question.
Because building 8 different specialized AI personas, feeding them all this context, managing their prompts, I mean, that sounds like a massive time sink. Isn't the whole point of AI to get things done faster?
I know that is the most common misconception the audio tackles here.
Okay.
The thing is, time saved is entirely useless unless it is reinvested wisely.
Oh, that's true.
The text argues that AI is essentially a mirror. Vague, rushed, lazy thinking produces generic, useless outputs. But clear, structured thinking produces brilliant outputs.
So you get out what you put in.
Right, so by setting up this specialized board,
Yeah.
you are moving away from just seeking quick, easy answers. You are building a fundamentally better thinking system.
Yeah.
Yes, it takes more time up front, but that time compounds incredibly over the long run.
And to help with that upfront investment, the text introduces the prompt pyramid and the 5 golden questions. And listener, these aren't questions you ask the AI. These are questions you must ask yourself before your fingers even touch the keyboard.
Let's walk through them because they really force you to be the architect of the workflow rather than just a passive consumer.
Yeah, let's do it.
So you have to ask, what am I trying to achieve? What information is missing? What assumptions am I making? What does success look like? And how will I verify the answer?
Let's actually take that second question. What information is missing? As an example. Most people will ask an AI to write a marketing plan, and they get this bland, generic output, right?
It seems like a robot wrote it.
Exactly. And why? Because they didn't realize the AI doesn't know their specific budget, their target demographic, or their unique brand voice.
Right.
By asking yourself what's missing first, you feed the AI the specific constraints that actually breed creativity. You're acting like a CEO giving a brief to a competent team rather than an intern asking for a magic shortcut.
And that shift in behavior is critical because once you get this right, once your AI board of directors is handling the raw data and summarizing the reports and drafting those initial outlines, we have to confront the next logical phase.
Right, which is what is actually left for you.
Exactly. What's left is what the author calls the human premium.
The human premium.
Yeah, because when execution becomes totally democratized, like when literally anyone can generate a 50-page market analysis report in 10 seconds.
Which is crazy, but true.
The premium shifts entirely away from data generation, and it moves toward uniquely human capabilities, specifically communication and creativity.
The text actually calls this the communication economy. Because we aren't starving for information anymore, we are drowning in it.
Absolutely drowned.
What we are starving for is clarity. And to solve this, the book introduces the CLEAR framework for communication.
Right.
CLEAR stands for context, lesson, evidence, action, and reflection.
And the reason this framework is so powerful isn't just because, it's a neat little acronym.
Sure.
It's because it fundamentally reorganizes how we share information with other humans.
Okay.
There's this great anecdote in the book about an engineer who used to deliver these deeply technical, incredibly dry presentations to his executives.
Oh, we've all been in those meetings.
Right. He'd walk in and just start listing specs and data points, and literally everyone in the room would immediately tune out.
But he transformed his entire career trajectory by flipping his script using this CLEAR framework.
Yes.
Instead of starting with all that technical evidence, he started with the context specifically, the customer's actual problem. He communicated for impact, focusing on the pain point and the solution, rather than just using the meeting to show off how much technical knowledge he possessed.
It's all about having the empathy to answer the so what for your audience before they ever even have to ask it.
Yeah.
And that empathy perfectly mirrors the text perspective on the second part of the human premium, which is creativity.
Let's talk about that.
There's a fascinating section on the myth of originality. We tend to think of creativity as this, like, lightning bolt of pure, spontaneous inspiration. But the text breaks it down into a process of 4 stages: collect, connect, create, and critique.
And this is exactly where the division of labor between you and your AI board becomes incredibly clear.
Yes.
Because AI is terrifyingly good at the connect and create phases. It can mash up 1,000 different historical eras and design styles in literally seconds, but it cannot collect human experience. It hasn't lived, it hasn't felt heartbreak or joy, and it cannot critique with real human empathy.
Which brings us perfectly to the case study of the marketing team trying to launch a new campaign.
Oh, the slogan story.
Right. They used their AI tools to generate literally hundreds of potential slogans. And the phrasing was polished, the grammar was perfect, they hit all the SEO keywords, but they were totally lifeless. They just fell completely flat in consumer testing.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The actual breakthrough for that campaign only happened when one of the human team members shared a very personal, messy, emotional story about their own family struggle.
Right.
That human story became the anchor for the entire campaign. I look at it this way. AI-generated work is like a beautifully cooked, nutritionally perfect meal that has absolutely no seasoning.
I love that.
The AI provides the calories, it provides the structure, but human lived experience, our struggles, our empathy, our weird, irrational quirks, that is the salt. It's the only thing that actually gives the work flavor.
And this raises an important question for you, the listener. How are you evaluating your own ideas in this new landscape? Because as AI makes content generation completely trivial, your personal aesthetic judgment, your taste, becomes your ultimate professional premium.
So how do we evaluate that?
Well, the author provides a creative compass to help you navigate this. When you look at the output you are producing alongside your AI tools, you have to ask three things. Is it useful? Is it memorable? And crucially, is it unmistakably mine?
I love that. But let me push back on this for a second.
Sure.
Let's say my AI board of directors gets really, really good. What if it gets good enough at faking empathy? What if it actually learns to write the perfect, emotionally resonant salt and pepper copy based on just, recognizing patterns of human psychology? Doesn't my human premium eventually hit a ceiling too?
You would think so, but you are confusing output with reputation. Having good taste and clear communication will definitely get you noticed. It might even get you the project. But getting noticed is just a spark.
Okay.
What actually sustains a career over 2, 3, or 4 decades? The manuscript argues that it comes down to a currency that AI, fundamentally, by its very nature, absolutely cannot generate.
And that is?
Trust. Welcome to the trust economy.
Okay. The trust economy, the trust equation. The book defines this as competence plus integrity plus consistency plus care.
Exactly.
And if you remove any one of those 4 pillars, the whole structure just collapses.
Precisely. And this is where we have to distinguish between a personal brand and a reputation.
That's a huge distinction.
It is. A personal brand is just what you broadcast on social media. It's what you claim you are.
Yeah.
But a reputation is what people consistently experience when they actually interact with you, especially under pressure.
Yes.
There's a story in the text of a CEO who needed someone to lead a massive, high-stakes, literally company-saving initiative.
And she didn't ask HR for resumes. She didn't look at who had the best LinkedIn profiles or the cleverest AI-generated strategy memos.
No.
She just walked into a room of executives and asked, who do we trust with this?
They wanted the person known for actually delivering on their promises, not just the person known for talking about delivering.
Right.
And building that kind of reputation requires a deep understanding of the law of delayed returns. The text talks about treating your career as a portfolio. It shares this brilliant case study of a consultant who simply committed to writing one thoughtful, well-researched industry article every single Friday.
And for months, it was completely crickets. Nobody was reading it. Nobody was commenting.
But he kept doing it.
Yeah.
He was building an asset based on consistency and care.
Yeah.
Over time, that tiny, quiet weekly habit compounded into massive credibility. It led to speaking engagements and inbound clients. He built trust at scale before he ever needed to ask anyone for a favor.
So let me ask you a highly specific question on behalf of the listener here, because this is where the philosophy kind of meets the daily grind.
Okay, let's hear it.
If I am following the book's advice, and I am heavily using my AI board of directors to draft my emails, to summarize my client meetings, to analyze my data, how do I practically demonstrate the care and integrity parts of that trust equation without sounding like a total robot myself?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the answer is that AI can format the message, but it cannot fulfill the promise.
Oh, that's good.
Think about it. Literally anyone can use an AI to write a perfectly polite, highly empathetic sounding email that says, I completely understand your concerns and I will have this complex report to you by Tuesday.
Sure, ChatGPT can do that in 2 seconds.
Right. The AI is the messenger. But actually delivering it on Tuesday, anticipating the obstacles that will inevitably arise on Monday, and ensuring the quality is fiercely high, That is where the trust is forged.
The action itself.
Exactly. Your behavior is the real message. Successful careers grow exactly like financial investments, not like lottery tickets. They compound through reliable human action over a long period of time.
Okay, I buy the philosophy. I completely understand the shift from the broken escalator to the trust economy. I know I need to leverage my AI board and focus on my human premium.
Good.
But let's be totally honest with ourselves here. If you are listening to this right now on your commute, you are probably thinking, I barely have time to clear my inbox, let alone build a comprehensive, multi-layered strategy for the future.
Totally.
We've all read a dozen self-help books, got a massive burst of motivation, and went right back to our old, exhausting habits by Tuesday. So how do we actually make this stick?
The author completely anticipates that exact exhaustion
Yeah,
because motivation is entirely unreliable.
it really is.
Systems are what actually drive transformation.
Uh-huh.
The final section of the text is dedicated to building what it calls your career OS, an operating system for your professional life.
Like a computer OS.
Exactly. And it has 5 interconnected engines: learning, creation, relationships, health, and AI.
Yeah.
And they all feed into each other. You cannot sustain the energy for creation without health.
Obviously.
You cannot build relationships without communication. And you use AI to reduce the friction across all of them.
And to keep those engines running without completely overwhelming yourself, the author provides a 90-day transformation blueprint. You essentially operate in quarterly cycles: learn, build, share, reflect.
Right.
It's exactly like regularly updating your smartphone's operating system, but for your brain. If you don't do those regular planned updates, your hardware might be totally fine, but suddenly you realize you've stopped being compatible with all the new apps the world is running.
That's a great way to think about it. And the most practical mechanism within that 90-day cycle is what the author calls learning at 10x speed.
Which sounds intense, but it's not.
No, it's not. It's driven by the 1-1-1 rule. It's
Oh.
incredibly simple, which is exactly why it works. Every single week, you commit to learning one new idea. You run one real-world experiment to test that idea, and you write one reflection on how it went.
So an experiment isn't some massive life-altering project.
No, not at all.
It could just be, today I'm going to try using the context step of the CLEAR framework in my 10 a.m. meeting, and then just writing down on Friday whether people actually paid more attention.
Exactly. Because real transformation isn't dramatic. It isn't a training montage in a movie with, like, soaring music in the background.
Right.
It's boring. It is just small, highly leveraged, repeatable habits compounding over time, often on a rainy Tuesday when you really don't feel like doing them.
The unglamorous reality.
Yeah. The goal isn't to reach some final, perfect destination where you are perfectly safe from AI forever. The goal is to adopt an infinite mindset.
Which brings us to the visual ending of the manuscript. The book describes this beautifully minimalist illustration, a person walking toward a new horizon.
I love this image.
Me too. But the horizon is depicted as these sharp arrows pointing upward, and they are all converging over a bright golden circle.
Right, and the arrows represent the continuous upward trajectory of learning and adapting to new technology.
Right.
You never stop. But the golden circle represents that enduring core of human value. Your judgment, your ethics, your empathy, your creativity. The infinite mindset means realizing there is no finish line, only evolution.
Yeah.
To maintain that, the text gives us 3 questions to constantly ask ourselves whenever the world shifts beneath our feet.
HR.
What should I let go of? What should I learn next? And most importantly, who am I becoming?
Wow. What an incredible journey. We started by looking at a broken career ladder and the sheer panic of 32 people walking into an office completely terrified of automation.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
But we've unpacked how to actually flip that dynamic entirely. It's about taking control. It's about building that specialized AI board of directors to handle the busy work and the raw data so you actually have the time and space to elevate your human premium, your clear communication, your seasoned creativity, your salt.
The salt, exactly.
It's about compounding deep trust through daily integrity and locking it all in with a 90-day operating system that keeps you constantly updating without burning out.
It is a profoundly empowering blueprint. And, before we go, I want to leave the listener with a final thought to mull over.
Oh, please do.
The text explicitly tells us to let go of technical skills that are easily automated, right?
Right.
But consider this. If AI perfectly masters every single technical, predictable aspect of your current job tomorrow, What is the one seemingly irrelevant human hobby, weird quirk, or intense passion you possess right now that could unexpectedly become your most valuable professional asset in a purely trust-based economy?
Oh, wow. I love that. A perfect question to carry with you. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the infinite career. Now go out there, start running your 1-1-1 rule, and begin building your own infinite career today.